Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another Kerfuffle webinar and a showcase today. Introducing, well, it's Blue Blood, it's royalty, it's Michael Stoop. Hello, Michael. How are you?
I'm very well, Simon. Thank you. How are you?
Good, perfect. Obviously, hair looking fantastic. Looking forward to Christmas. Got my eyes on about 3 or 4 of the vaccines, so everything's looking good from this side of things.
Good.
Good. We've fantastic. Obviously, everybody obviously knows, your background and everything that you've done, and indeed everything that you're doing across there. I don't know how you've managed to also have the time to help out with this, Michael, as well, and create a new tool. But we're here today to look at Complylex. The title is Complylex: Compliance with Confidence. Nice, catchy title there. You know how I love my compliance, Michael.
I do, Simon. I do.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a complicated subject, but we can talk about it.
It is. I mean, just straight away, do you think that agents are up to speed enough with compliance? Are they getting better at it, or is it still a bit of an ostrich head in the sand moment for most agents?
Good question, Simon. I mean, I think you can put it into two parts. You've got the big corporates and the big franchise organizations and the sort of the larger groups that quite rightly have their own centralized compliance officer or whatever they might have in their behemoth head offices. But equally, there are a lot of agents out there that are sort of maybe, in terms of the amount of agents out there, something like 60% in England and Wales are 3 offices and less, and they don't have the luxury of having a compliance department. So, that's where we felt, and I felt, that when we started this concept with Complylex, there are thousands of agents out there that just don't have the tools to in their box, as it were, to just have an easy reference about learning about compliance in the estate agency world.
And of course, they do need to have that. It's not an option, is it? I mean, you can choose to ignore it if you want, but you're just really kicking the can down the road in terms of when one of these things can catch you out. And as you highlighted there, it's probably 5, maximum 10% of people that have dedicated compliance, officers and even departments in place. So there's a real demand stroke requirement for this kind of service.
Yeah, I agree. And it worries me. It's been my passion in terms of raising the bar in our industry, is that there are agents out there that neither are members of any professional bodies or really are not kept up to date with compliance and good practice. So it's one of my missions in life has always been trying to raise the bar in our industry to create best practice and if you like, compliant practice.
And so while you're busy raising the bar, I'm busy taking it down.
You're busy taking it off the bar.
Oh, don't get me tempted. I'm getting excited about the thought of bars opening again. Okay, so Michael, give us a bit of the background here. When did the concept kind of begin?
The concept began actually quite a while ago, Simon, probably back in April 2017. And like all concepts, I mean, the people I've got involved, which I'll come to in a while, we're all doing other things. But the people I've got involved believed with me passionately that there was a gap in our industry where we felt that a tool like Complylex would actually be a really useful, good value tool. So we've, as I say, we've been working on it since 2017, and there's a lot of content, especially in lettings, as you know. I mean, there's something like 168 pieces of legislation that govern our lettings industry. Not so much on sales, but again, the sales side is more best practice. But I think with Roper coming down the road, it's something again that we've got an eye on in terms of we want to make sure that this app is really, as I say, is there for sales and lettings, and maybe might evolve into a landlord or a tenant or a buyer or a seller. So it will evolve. But in the first instance, we believe there was a gap in the marketplace for a compliance app for agents to have a ready record at their fingertips.
So that's the key thing about it then, is it, Michael? It's readily accessible, it's easy to access and consume, as they talk about these days, because you have got the ability to do it on the app as well.
Absolutely, and it's you'll know the terminology. It's a PWA, which is a progressive web app, which means it can run on any device. That's a PC, an Android, an iPad, an iPhone, and we've created.
Hello, Michael. I think we've lost Michael. Houston, we have a problem here. I don't think he's using a progressive web app, if I'm honest. We'll give him a couple of seconds just to jump back on. Here we go. Let's just see here. Hello, Michael. Michael, you're back with us.
Yeah, I'm back with you. Where was I?
You were just saying, you were just talking to us about progressive web apps, and then your regressive web app took you off.
Took me off. Sorry about that. So yeah, progressive web app, which makes it easy for us to keep it updated regularly. And again, we'll touch on this further on in this presentation. But the whole purpose behind Complylex is the ease of updating it, which I think is an important part for any estate agent. Of course, they're gonna get their updates of their members of ALA or NAAA, Property Mark, or the National Landlords Association or the National Residential Landlords Association. They're all members of bodies that do the updates. So, and I fully appreciate that's we want to encourage that as well. But this is really a backup to all that. Rather than having to trawl back into loads of emails or updates from ALA or the National Association of Estate Agents or whichever professional body you're a member of, you can just quickly look it up. So that's to me is one of the USPs of Complylex.
And that's critical, isn't it? Because I think one of the problems any business falls into, and indeed many business owners falls into, is just broadcasting, aka sending out an email with all the relevant compliance and legislation. You might feel you've done, you've ticked a box, but actually that doesn't mean your staff and teams have absorbed the information. How have they? And to have a tool like this where you can readily access it, and it's not just obviously a quite rigorous email, obviously, that you kind of probably put, let's be honest, into a special folder to be reviewed that never does get reviewed, if it's anything like my Outlook anyway, with 11,000 emails unread here. That's a really, really major point about it, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And it's plain English. It's and you can drill down further if you want to. So we'll always, on a topic, either on sales or lettings, we will probably have a couple of paragraphs about what a particular topic means. But equally, if there's a government linked website to that topic, whether it's COVID or whether it's to do with money laundering, we'll then put that link in so they can, if they want to dig down deeper and go into more detail, and they can bookmark that subject. They can mark it as read, so the manager or director of an office can actually check that his staff have read it and are knowledgeable. And again, as time evolves, we hope to provide some form of test exam that staff can take as a result of or on the back of what they've learnt on Complylex as well. And as I said earlier, we are moving down the road at some stage to ROPA, and this should be a valuable tool in helping staff get to the necessary qualifications they need to be estate agents.
Got you. Well, whisper it quietly, Michael, but when you said there it's a progressive web app, you know what that is, don't you, Simon? I don't know what it is. But anyway, as I've said to you, before, I do. And I'll be quoting that all day, so that's fantastic. Thank you for, again, giving me a little bit of knowledge where I can be really dangerous. But okay, I think I do think I understand in terms of those progressive web apps basically mean that they'll go onto any smart devices, isn't that right?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So we looked and we hummed and we hard. Should we do the Google Play and the App Store? Yeah. But actually, this is a much quicker, easier way of getting the actual app down to your laptop or your website or to your PC. And there's quite a lot of stringent rules of being, having your app within the App Store as well. I mean, Apple are pretty tough on that. So this, as I say, the whole idea is to make it simple, quick, and easy to download.
Excellent, good stuff. So you mentioned there. So who else is involved in this?
So I've got Caroline Kenny, who you may or may not know, Simon. Yeah. She, she's had over 20 years' experience in the residential lettings industry. She worked for a large number of corporates, including she worked with me back in my the property franchise group days as our compliance officer. She's worked for UCALA, NLA, and she's an associate tutor for Mole. Learn and an advisor consultant with clients in the UK private rented property sector. So she's got this area. Yeah, she's got great experience. and she also does training, or has done training for Isle of Property Mark. So she's got a diploma in residential lettings and property management. She's incredibly knowledgeable and diligent. So she's my content writer, and she was actually probably the person who came to me at the outset to say, I've got a good idea, which sort of married up to the ideas I had as well. So she's been a wonderful asset to us. And then we've also got Marvine Smith, who you probably know from Payne Smith.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Who is a director and a shareholder of Complylex. And she will sign off everything legally. So we'll make sure that whatever Caroline's content is, the roadmap is that Caroline will write the content. That will be passed to Marvine for approval or change. Yep. And once that's then approved by Marvine, it's back to Caroline and then back up to our third member of my exec team, John Crocker, who's our IT guy, who will then publish that new content or change content. And every time we do that, we will then email every user on the system to let them know that we've either added a new bit of legislation, a change of legislation, or a new topic. So we'll always ensure that whatever we do, that route from Caroline to Marvine, from Marvine to Caroline to John, it's a pretty quick exercise. And again, being a progressive web app, going back to that one, we can get it done instantly. And that's what the industry expects. I mean, we won't be as quick as say Arla or NAA, but we'll be there, and it's there for them for forever, so to speak.
But you've got compliance in your pocket is the fantastic kind of tagline there, isn't it? Really, which is which is really useful to have. Well, that's a really heavyweight team there. That's pretty much a compliance Avengers assemble team there, isn't it? Really?
Yes, I mean, and I hope it's got. We've got to make sure that we've got the confidence of the user, and I think having that sort of team, in terms of my experience, well, that sort of goes without saying. But Caroline is second to none on her knowledge. Marvine is well known in the industry as somebody that people can rely on. She still acts for a lot of agents writing their terms of business, and she makes sure that we are ourselves compliant in terms of what we're posting on the app as well.
Cool. Yeah, because obviously you take that thought leadership role. You've got to make sure everything's completely right in what you put out there to the industry, don't you? Yeah, cool. And so when did it officially launch then, Michael?
So we launched on the 5th of October, and I had been trying it. Obviously, as you would expect, Simon, I've got and still do have a lot of contacts within the industry. I have various mentoring groups that I chair. So a lot of this has been built around some of their input as well, where they feel there's a gap in their, whether it's their training or their knowledge base. So yeah, we launched it on October the 5th. To the guys we've been trialing with, and as I hope you've seen in terms of the reviews we've now got on Kerfuffle, to a man and to a woman, they all loved it and believed it in as much as they subscribed to it, and they're very happy with the product. So it's been we've been trying it for probably 6 months before the 5th of October, but really to a man and to a girl to sign up, all the trialists signed up to the product, which I hope speaks volumes for the product itself.
That's great. It really does show, because you put in time and effort helping to work with minimum viable products or beta products there. But it's quite rare to have 100% take up from that, all going on. So that's really, really impressive. In fact, I think we've got a few of them now. Thankfully, Emily's just posting these up here. So let's just have a look here. We've got Leigh Hoskin from CJ Hull, very useful tool there. We have a go-to for compliance from Joshua Gribble here. We've been using the system for a while now as our go-to tool for compliance, and we've been impressed every time. Highly recommended. And then just the third one of the triumvirate there. Excellent resource for estate agents. I have found Complylex to be invaluable for helping me to gain detailed understanding of my responsibilities as an estate agent. That's from Edward Culpit of Newton Kings. So as you said, pretty quick feedback already there, but very strong, clear. And it's got to be strong as well, hasn't it? In a compliance area there, they've got to have real strength of feeling to feel like they can say that sort of stuff.
Yeah, and I think Simon, again, whoever cares to listen to me, I liken it to a Spotify. Is that sometimes you're on it every day, sometimes you're on it once a week, sometimes you're on there once a month, sometimes you're on there very, very, very few times in the year. But at the end of the day, if you know it's there, you're hopefully going to use it and play with it.
Yeah, but you don't judge an insurance policy really by how it's just knowing it's there, isn't it? That's the important point.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, cool.
Exactly.
Well, we've got somebody else, another expert in her field, Mr. Gardner here. Compliance in your pocket. She likes that, so a big thumbs up there. So nice there. Thanks, Jane. Thanks for that comment. And apart from those ones there, then, Michael, what was the feedback from the trial? I mean, obviously, it seems like overwhelming supportive. But what did they say the main benefit was for them? Was it just the accessibility?
Yeah, accessibility, and I suppose the opportunity to, certainly for the managers of the business, if they've got new starters, they felt this was a useful tool to say to the new starter, here is, if you like, your online, your highway code for a state agency online. Have a look at this. It's in your pocket. You can learn while you're, as it were, on the job. Take it out with you wherever you're going. If you've got a problem, you can always refer to it very quickly, because it can be used offline as well as online. It's always, as we keep coming back to, it's in your pocket, and it's there to be read. So that to me is a no-brainer in terms of, it's great for new starters, and it's good for people like me who you often forget things, and you need to reference back things that you forget, as us dear old estate agents do. So to me, it's whether it's your manager of the office or whether it's a new starter, you've got the tool there that should help you do your job better.
Yeah, great. Any other USPs? So we talk about the offline element there. You mentioned earlier, though, you've got the email updates, obviously, so you're still backing that up with things like email updates. Anything else in there?
Yeah, I mean, that to me, that's the real USP. Is the USP is without harping on the stories, it's there at your fingertips, as Jay would say, and it keeps you updated. So you've got to feel comfortable that not only are you being updated, but it's been legally checked. And whether it's a manager or a negotiator, or whether it's lettings or whether it's sales, you should rest comfortably to know that as long as your staff can read, they're going to be up to speed. They're going to be up to speed on what they should and what they shouldn't be doing, and what they can and what they can't do.
Oh, that's just ruled out a number of my friends within the industry if it's about reading. But anyway, and can we get down and dirty? What's the pricing model?
So the price is, and again, there's a few sleepless nights on what you should price something like this at. So we struck it a price of £25 per month per office, and we worked out that on the basis that if you took an average office, say what I call the lower end of having 4 members of staff, it works out at about £6 per month for full staff. So to me, it's not about the price so much as that I think it's a price that you shouldn't worry about. It's £300 a year, and I think £300 a year, the price to pay for that to keep the staff always in the know and updated, is good value.
Peace of mind, isn't it? Yeah, that's really important.
And as I've said before, there's no contract. We don't expect you to sign any contracts. Right. It's an online subscription model. We use an online system called Stripe. You can cancel at any time. There's no penalty. So, but I'm confident that once you've got it, you'll probably want to keep it. That's our view from the management side, is that it's once you're used to it and you understand how it works, it's why not keep it.
Well, you're far too experienced and not a tired old sales hack like me. I was going to fall for the normal sales trick of kind of, it's less than a cappuccino a day. It's actually far less than that, actually, isn't it? Realistically, so that's for that peace of mind, really, really important. And how important do you think it is, Michael, for agents to be able to not just have this for themselves, but to be able to demonstrate to the public that they are well informed, up to speed, and everything else?
I mean, even when I started in this business back in 1976, it was always about, I think agents who are knowledgeable and can demonstrate that they're knowledgeable and they are professional in what they can do, which is, if you like, is all part of what Complylex does. It's not the sole purpose of Complylex, because we have other professional bodies that will want to ensure that we are using best practice to run a business. I think you gain more business as a well-tuned professional agent who's knowledgeable in what he does. And as I say, we'd like to maybe roll this out to to buyers or sellers as time goes on, and that may be part of an agent's gift to a vendor or to a landlord to say, listen, as part of what we do for you, this is what you should be doing as a seller or as a landlord. And it amazes me, and I'm sure you know this, the ignorance of people. And I'm not being rude or derogatory by saying this. The ignorance of people that are either selling or letting is unbelievable. And bearing in mind this is probably the second most important event of one's life after marriage, it's amazing how naive people can be. So this is all about educating, and whether educating agents or vendors or landlords, tenants or buyers. That's where we should be in terms of trying to up our game.
Yeah, I think it is. I mean, I think we do. It is staggering the lack of knowledge that people go into it. But then I suppose actually we were just talking on one of the panel shows the other day that often quoted, somebody moves every 7 years is completely out the window, isn't it? Isn't it about 17 years on average, something like that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when I first started, it was every 4 years. And now I think it's about every 18 to 20 years. So it's a completely different arena out there.
Yeah, so we got to cut them a bit of slack, really, haven't we? Because unless, rented's different, but if that's their experience and their exposure to the process, it's once every pretty much 2 decades. It's hardly surprising, is it? Really, that they're not au fait with all of the compliance and legals.
Very true, and as you know, dinner parties or lunch parties, it's amazing how much people think they know if they're not an estate agent about how you should and how you shouldn't sell a house or how you should and shouldn't rent a property. But when they understand the legislation alone and lettings and what's involved, they're staggered by it. They're staggered by the fact that what you've got to do as a landlord to make sure your property is legally allowable to be let. That's
right, because they do think it's the Wild West, don't they? Their perceptions, the tabloids have obviously made people think that it is just do what you want, and it couldn't be any more far from the truth, could it? In reality.
Exactly. I mean, I think there's still work to do on the sales side, but that has changed exponentially over the last 10 years, and I'm sure will change as we keep referring to Roper as we go down the road. But we are slowly getting our act together as an industry in terms of becoming more compliant and becoming better at what we do, which I think quite rightly, this is the person's main asset. We should be doing a better job.
Absolutely. Jez Lee from Agents OS. Always good to see industry royalty in the morning. That's very good. Oh, you meant Michael, Jez. Sorry. Okay. Yeah.
Thank you, Jez.
Yeah, he's obviously a big fan there. Talk to us, Michael, about that legal sign-off by Payne-Smith as well, because that's critical, isn't it, as well, in terms of reinforcing everything?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, anyone who's anyone in the industry, talking of royalty, I think Marvin would be considered to be royalty. She's been around. She I think founded Payne-Smith back in 2001, and she specialises in property law. I mean, you can't really ask for a better endorsement than Marvin, on the basis that I rest comfortably that I know that whatever the content is in there, it's been checked and double checked by Marvin, and that has to be a great testament to the product.
Yeah, and then all that backed up, as you said before, no contracts, subscribe online, cancel any time. That's always a strong sign of somebody who believes in, has the confidence in their product and indeed their solution.
Yeah, absolutely, and Simon, I do. It's not going to make me rich, but if I can raise the bar in the industry to actually let people become more informed about, as I say, what they should and shouldn't be doing, then it's job done. But it's getting agents to engage in anything new is a tough gig.
Yeah, cool. And actually, just to echo your point there, Jen Garner again, Marvin, my hero. That's like Pele saying how good Maradona is, really, isn't it? Two of the greats endorsing each other. So yeah, thanks again, Jane. Couldn't agree more. Okay, so if I can just talk about kind of key takeaways then. So basically, this isn't for the corporates, is it? Primarily, you would think, although I'm sure to have this kind of, that again, the flexibility and the app elements of it, that could still be thing. But primarily, this is for the independent agents that don't have compliance managers, officers, and things like that, to guide them through obviously the myriad of changing, and indeed current legislation there. Tick in the box should be a must-have tool, isn't it? Really,
definitely.
I know you're going to be biased on this.
Yeah. I mean, if you ask me to give you the 3 takeaways, that would be one of them.
Yeah, cool. Okay. And then the other one, what was it? Obviously, even though you may be a member of a professional body, obviously that keeps you updated and everything, Property Markala, so on. Complylex is always at hand there. You can't essentially lose it as long as you've got your phone with you. So the key thing is you can reference a particular subject. The key here, I imagine, isn't it, Michael, is how easy it is to search for this stuff. So no doubt you've put a lot of time and effort into that sort of Google search element to the proposition.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's I think anybody using the app will find it pretty self-intuitive. But there is a search function there that you can just search anything, whether it's just Section 21 or whether it's money laundering. It'll take you to that subject rather than searching and trying to distill information from either an online manual or whatever. It will take you quickly to what you're looking for. And I think again that's a USP of the system. And also if it's a subject that you want to if you want like read up regularly about, you can bookmark that, so you're not always trying to sort of search around. You can just go to the bookmarks and go straight to your topic.
You're telling me I can bookmark my favorite compliance, Michael? This is a dream.
Yeah, I know.
It's important to point out this isn't I was going to say PropTech. We're a little bit behind compliance in almost all areas, aren't we?
This is meant to be promotional, Simon.
Look, of course it is. I'm self-deprecating. That's what we do on here. Jane just echoes again. Super easy, and she was so excited she couldn't get it all on one text as well. So super easy to use. So again, thank you, Jane, for all this wonderful feedback on the app. That's great to hear, and everything else there. And so you mentioned before, though, the final takeaway, I'd say, Michael, you've got Roper down the road. The app should ensure that all your staff remain compliant, kept up to date on all the changes in both the sales and lettings arena.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
And really, Simon, it's not complicated. That's what it's there to do. And agents either feel they can benefit from it or they think they know enough not to use it. But it's there, and I hope it's cheap enough for agents to use and to embrace. And as I say, it will evolve. It will have other add-ons, and I don't think it's an expensive tool for a self-respecting agent to have for him or her and their staff.
No, you're in that wonderful below £50 sweet spot, aren't you? Where actually it should be, a nice discretionary purchase for what is, really is a must-have area, isn't it?
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
I just wanted to show, obviously, your wonderful landing page on here, replete, let's note, with your kerfuffle snowflakes there. And I am a snowflake, as many people will tell you. So what we have here is of Complylex, bit of information on it. We've obviously, as you said, you've only just hit the site and you're already getting, tremendous feedback and testimonials. All of those are obviously from named agents here, as we can see. I encourage anybody to have a look through those to see more there. There's Mark Newton, again, absolute heavyweight, obviously, in the industry and everything else. And then there at the top, Michael, you've been really, really kind, haven't you? You put a trial out essentially for our Kerfuffle members, 1 month free, as you said. You can test it. If you don't like it, there's no commitment there. But obviously, you're hoping that people will stay on board. And given what you said about the trial thing, it's probably likely that they will do.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, thank you for that. So I'll just encourage everyone again. Look, you've got to not hopefully, but it's going to be quieted down just a little bit more as we'd expect now. Now's the perfect time to review this. You've got a month there. Get on it. Speak to Michael. If you obviously find Michael in the normal places, or click I am interested, contact me. And obviously that will all be forwarded on to Michael and the team, and they'll be back in contact. And I should just stress as well, if this is a company maybe not right for you just at the moment, but you definitely want to keep an eye on it. Once you're logged into Kerfuffle, if you click on the add to wish list, that will simply put that into your dashboard, and you can then simply, like you were talking about actually before, Michael, go back, see a bookmark, see new reviews, see any new deals that we come up with, and indeed any blogs or webinars that we undertake with your good selves. Okay. You still there, Michael?
I'm still here. Yeah, still here, Simon. Thank you. Thank you.
I wonder if I was waiting for a round of applause or something.
Simon, I don't know how many people are listening live, but it would also give a shout out for Agents Giving event tomorrow night.
Absolutely, it would be absolutely criminal to not do that. So we've got, what time are we kicking off, Michael? It's
I think 5 o'clock.
Yeah. In fact, CA, absolutely. So kick in, go register now. It's going to be a fantastic. It's quite a nice, short, sharp event, isn't it, Michael? So it's not one of these where we're sat on all day, but you're going to be able to go there, see who's been obviously doing some great work there. There's some great entertainment, and indeed the charity auction always obviously promises to offer up. As I said, I'm definitely getting Bob Scarf's boat this year. That's happening. I'm going to have a lot of fun on that.
Or if you feel really generous, Simon, you can bid for the Complylex.
Oh,
Complylex,
oh,
6 months free.
You absolutely dumped me like a kipper there, and I said you were in the hotel. Well done, absolutely. I should point out, of course, you have got a great and very generous, obviously, charity lot there. 6 months for Complylex as well to get on board. So yeah, absolutely right to highlight that out there. And we've got to stop talking about royalty. Here he is. It's so handy to have a compliance handbook on your mobile phone, Simon. There we are. They've spelt that wrong. That's actually Christopher Watkins. We all know it has an S on the end, but he's absolutely spot on. Reiterated a number of times, isn't it? That's a really absolutely key feature of it. And Jane just jumps in as well. I think she's already getting the drinks ready for tomorrow. She's obviously in a good place for that. Michael,
exactly.
As I said, I don't know how you have the time, energy to be turning out more stuff, but this looks like a really, really interesting, really interesting addition to what obviously is an important area. So thank you very much for joining us today. We'll stay in touch, and maybe we'll have a look at the app in future on one of the future webinars.
Thanks, Simon.
Thanks a lot. Catch you tomorrow. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Indeed, look forward to it. Cheers. Bye.